Good news, Buffers. I think it's... Et to the Arc de Triomphe.
John Wick, declared excommunicado by the High Table, seeks to earn his freedom by challenging its powerful new enforcer, the Marquis Vincent Bonny de Gramont. With an ever-growing bounty on his head, Wick navigates a global gauntlet of assassins and old friends, fighting his way through Osaka, Berlin, and Paris. His ultimate goal is a duel to the death that could finally release him from the endless cycle of violence or ensure his demise.
Because the way I's mad is Marquis. Pay for the service.
Tell, find Wick.
Did you? John.
You a tracker? I need you to take better care of yourself.
I...
Nuts. Joe.
Remember your daughter.
Fuck off.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the stylish, bullet-ridden, and absolutely relentless world of John Wick Chapter 4, a movie that somehow manages to crank the action dial past 11 and then rips the knob off. If you thought John was done after 3 chapters, bless your heart, because our favorite Baba Yaga is back and angrier than ever. We're talking about a man who just wants to live in peace, but keeps getting pulled back into a global conspiracy of highly organized assassins. It's like when you try to leave a group chat, but someone keeps adding you back in, except with more headshots and less emojis. So grab your bulletproof suit and let's get into it, because this one is a wild ride from start to finish. If you like this sneak peek, hit the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel and let me know you want more. The film opens with a powerful image, a stark reminder of John Wick's enduring resolve. He's in the middle of a desert, injured but not broken, literally punching a wooden post until his knuckles bleed, a raw, visceral display of his unbreakable will. This isn't just a workout, it's a silent scream, a promise to himself and to those who hunt him that he is far from finished. He's training, rebuilding his strength, preparing for the storm he knows is coming. A brief, almost ethereal flashback flickers across the screen, a memory of his beloved Helen, the anchor that grounds him, even in this desolate existence. It's a quiet moment, but it speaks volumes about his motivation. He's not fighting for revenge anymore, not entirely. He's fighting for the ghost of a chance at peace, a freedom he's been denied for so long. He makes his way to the hidden stronghold of the Elder, a figure shrouded in mystery and power, a man who sits at the very top of the high table's convoluted hierarchy. The Elder, a new iteration played by a different actor, sits in a tent, an ancient figure with an air of weary authority. John approaches him with a grim determination, the weight of a world on his shoulders. The Elder, however, is not sympathetic. He reminds John of the consequences of his actions, the blood debts, the broken rules. He asks John why he continues to fight, why he refuses to accept his fate. John's reply is simple, guttural, because I want to kill the high table. The Elder, unimpressed by this declaration, states that John will die alone, forgotten. As a final act of defiance and a perverse form of mercy, the Elder offers John a path out, submission. But John Wick is not one for submission. In a shocking, brutal display, John ends the Elder's reign with a swift, decisive strike, a knife to the head. The sound is a sickening thud, a stark punctuation mark to his declaration of war. This isn't just a kill, it's a statement, a challenge thrown directly at the high table itself. The calm after the storm is brief, a moment of profound silence before the world inevitably reacts. Cut to the opulent, almost ridiculously formal interiors of the high table. We meet the Marquis Vincent Boney de Gramont, a man who exudes a chilling blend of aristocratic arrogance and ruthless ambition. He's perfectly coiffed, impeccably dressed, and utterly without mercy. He speaks with a soft, cultured voice, but his words are laced with venom. He sees John Wick not as a man, but as a problem, a symbol of defiance that must be crushed to maintain order. He is given carte blanche, essentially a blank check to eradicate John Wick and any who support him. He relishes the opportunity, a predator enjoying the hunt. His first order of business? To visit Winston Scott, the former manager of the New York Continental, who aided John in his previous escapades. Winston, ever the picture of refined composure, stands before the Marquis in the wreckage of his beloved Continental. The hotel, once a sanctuary, now lies in ruins, a stark testament to the high table's power. The Marquis, with a chilling smile, declares that Winston has failed. He strip-mines Winston of his managerial status, demolishes the Continental, and then, in a truly heartbreaking moment, executes Charon, the loyal concierge, right in front of Winston's eyes. The gunshot rips through the air, a loud, definitive crack, followed by the dull thud of Charon's body hitting the marble floor. It's a gut punch, a truly cruel act designed to break Winston's spirit and send a clear message. No one is safe. Winston, though visibly shaken, maintains an almost impossibly stoic demeanor, a testament to his unbreakable will. He doesn't beg, he doesn't plead, he simply watches, his eyes filled with a simmering, dangerous anger. It's a fantastic performance from Lance Reddick, whose quiet dignity in the face of such horror is truly powerful. He says nothing, but his silence screams 1,000 threats. The narrative shifts to Osaka, Japan, where John seeks refuge with an old friend, Koji Shimazu, the manager of the Osaka Continental. This Continental is a marvel of architectural beauty, blending traditional Japanese aesthetics with modern brutalism. It's all sliding screens, bamboo gardens, and stark concrete. Koji, played with a weary charm by Hiroyuki Sanada, welcomes John, knowing full well the danger he brings. He understands the code, the unbreakable bond of friendship. His daughter, Akira, a formidable warrior in her own right, is less thrilled, her eyes burning with suspicion and concern. She knows John Wick is a walking target, and his presence puts everyone she cares about in mortal peril. She moves with almost silent grace, her movements precise and deadly even when she's just pouring tea. The calm doesn't last long. The Marquis, a man who leaves no stone unturned, dispatches a force to the Osaka Continental, led by a blind assassin named Kane, played by the incredible Donnie Yen. Kane is a ghost, a whisper of death. His movements so fluid and precise it's almost balletic, despite his reliance on sound and memory. He uses a specialized cane that doubles as a sword, a perfect reflection of his character, understated, elegant, and lethal. Kane and John share a past, a bond that is now tragically broken by the High Table's mandates. Kane is under orders from the Marquis to kill Koji and retrieve John, and he makes it clear he has no choice. He's doing it to protect his own daughter, a heartbreaking parallel to John's own motivations. The confrontation is tense, the air thick with unspoken history and a profound sense of regret. The silence shatters as the Marquis' forces, clad in tactical gear, descend upon the Osaka Continental. The initial clash is a masterclass in controlled chaos. Arrows, swords, and bullets fly in a symphony of destruction. Koji's staff, armed with traditional Japanese weapons and modern firearms, defend as sanctuary with fierce loyalty. The thwip of arrows embedding into concrete walls, the clatter of katana against rifle butts, the pop-pop-pop of suppressed firearms. It's a chaotic orchestra of violence. John, of course, is in his element. He's moving like a specter, his every action precise and deadly. He's using whatever is at hand, often disarming an assailant and using their own weapon against him. He's not just shooting, he's improvising, adapting, a whirlwind of fists, feet, and bullets. The camera work here is phenomenal, following the action with an almost breathless intensity, never losing track of John amidst the mayhem. One particularly memorable sequence involves John engaging a group of assassins in a room filled with glass display cases. The shattering sound of glass becomes a constant accompaniment to the fight, each pane exploding into 1,000 glittering shards as bodies are thrown through them or as bullets ricochet. It's visually stunning and audibly jarring, adding a frantic energy to the already high-octane battle. John moves through the environment, using it to his advantage, kicking enemies into the shards, using the broken glass as cover or even as a weapon. He grabs a pair of nunchaku at one point, a nod to classic martial arts cinema, and unleashes a flurry of strikes and blocks. The whoosh of the nunchaku spinning, the thud of them connecting with bone. It's all part of the brutal elegance of John Wick's fighting style. He's not just a shooter, he's a highly skilled martial artist, a master of multiple disciplines.
Chain, meanwhile, is a force of nature. His blindness, far from being a handicap, is his greatest asset. He hears everything, anticipates every move. He fights with a chilling efficiency, his cane sword a blur of silver. He takes down dozens of high-table goons, often engaging multiple targets simultaneously. The zing of a sword slicing through the air, the clink as it parries a blit, it's mesmerizing to watch. He's almost graceful in his violence, a stark contrast to John's more brutal, grounded approach. His fight against Koji is emotionally charged. They are friends, brothers in arms, now forced to fight to the death. The clash of their swords echoes through the burning hotel, a tragic duet. Koji, using a katana with practiced ease, defends his home with everything he has, but Kane, with his uncanny ability to predict, proves to be too much. The duel is quick, brutal, and ends with Koji's tragic death, a silent, almost reverent act of violence. The thump, as Koji's body falls to the ground, is a heavy sound. marking a profound loss. Akira, witnessing her father's death, is consumed by grief and rage. She unleashes a barrage of arrows, each one aimed with deadly precision. Her cries are a mixture of anguish and vengeance. While she doesn't kill Cain in this scene, she wounds him, a promise of future retribution. The whiz of her arrows, followed by the thud as they find their mark, adds another layer of acoustic texture to the cacophony of the battle. The Ahsoka Continental, once a beacon of peace and luxury, is now a burning wreck, a casualty in John Wick's endless war. The sizzle of flames, the groan of collapsing structures, the shouts of combatants, it's a symphony of destruction. John and Akira, now both survivors of immense loss, escape into the night, the weight of their shared grief hanging heavy in the air. John is once again on the run, but with a renewed sense of purpose. He's not just fighting for himself anymore, he's fighting for those who have fallen because of him. Next, John finds himself in Berlin, a city teeming with its own dark underbelly of high-table affiliates. He seeks out the Ruska Roma, his former adoptive family, hoping to find a way to re-enter their ranks. But things have changed. The high table has put immense pressure on them, and the rules are absolute. Before he can even attempt to rejoin, he has to deal with a formidable and incredibly annoying figure named Killa, played with grotesque flamboyance by Scott Adkins in a memorable fat suit. Killa is a high-ranking member of the German table, a menacing figure operating a pumping nightclub, a den of sin and violence. He's surrounded by bodyguards, a literal mountain of a man with a golden tooth that shines menacingly. He's not just big, he's cunning and surprisingly agile. The meeting with Killa is set in a bustling, thumping nightclub, a true visual and auditory assault. The bass thrums through your chest, the neon lights pulse with an almost aggressive energy, and the crowd is a sea of dancing bodies, blissfully unaware of the deadly game unfolding around them. John's objective is simple: kill Killa to earn his way back into the Ruska Roma. But Killa, being the cunning brute he is, quickly realizes John's intentions. The fight erupts in a chaotic explosion of sound and fury. Bodies slam into walls, drinks shatter on the floor, and the music, instead of stopping, somehow just gets louder, transforming the fight into a bizarre, visceral dance. John, ever the master of improvisation, uses the environment to his advantage. He slides across the slick, wet floor, uses tables as shields, and even weaponizes the club's lighting rigs. The snap of a bone, the gasp of a falling thug, the whiz of a bullet passing too close, it's all part of the club's violent soundtrack. Killa himself is a challenging opponent. Despite his bulk, he's surprisingly quick. His movements a blur of power and unexpected agility. He fights dirty, using his weight to his advantage, delivering bone-crushing blows. John has to use every trick in his arsenal to combat him. The fight takes them through multiple levels of the club, upstairs, down escalators, even through a private gambling room. The stakes are incredibly high as the bounty on John's head continues to skyrocket, drawing in every desperate assassin in Berlin. The clatter of coins on a gambling table, the whoosh of air as a punch misses, the grunt of effort from John, every detail is amplified. John, at one point, engages in a brutal close-quarters fight in a dimly lit, water-soaked section of the club, the reflections dancing on the walls like distorted spirits. The splash of water underfoot, the spray as bodies hit the pool, the metallic clang of a weapon falling. It's an immersive, intense sequence. The fight with Killa is a grueling test of endurance and skill, ending with John literally dragging Killa to his death, a satisfying thump as his massive body crashes multiple stories. Having dealt with Killa, John finally gets an audience with the Ruska Roma's matriarch, the formidable Katia. She demands a blood oath, a truly painful ritual where John must prove his loyalty by submitting to a branding. The sizzle of the hot iron against his flesh, the faint hiss of steam, it's a visceral moment that reinforces the brutal realities of this world. He endures it without a sound, his face a mask of determination. He is now back in, albeit begrudgingly, and with his identity restored within their ranks, he now has a chance to utilize the high table's own rules against them. This is the moment Winston has been waiting for. Winston, having meticulously studied the High Table's ancient codes, informs John about a rarely invoked, incredibly dangerous path to freedom, a duel to the death. If John Wick, as a representative of a family, now the Ruska Roma, challenges the Marquis de Gramont directly, the High Table must sanction the duel. If John wins, he walks free. If he loses, he dies. But so does the Marquis, and John's ties to the Ruska Roma are severed. It's a desperate gamble, but it's the only one left. The terms are intricate, involving a second, specific weapons, and a sunrise deadline. The stakes couldn't be higher. Winston, ever the strategist, makes a deal with the Marquis. If John wins, Winston gets his Continental rebuilt and his status restored. If John loses, Winston gives his own life. The Marquis, confident in his victory, readily agrees. He's so wrapped up in his own perceived power, he can't see the trap. The next leg of John's relentless journey takes him to Paris, a city of light and romance, now transformed into a deadly labyrinth. He has to reach the dual location, the Sacré-Cœur Basilica, before sunrise, a seemingly impossible task given the entire High Table and every bounty hunter in Europe is after him. The bounty is escalated to a ludicrous $40 million, an absurd sum that guarantees everyone wants a piece of him. The streets of Paris become a battleground, a ballet of bullets and brutal close-quarters combat. One of the most iconic action sequences of the film unfolds at the Arc de Triomphe, a historical landmark transformed into a swirling vortex of violence. John, armed with a powerful shotgun loaded with dragon's breath rounds, finds himself in a chaotic, multi-car pileup. The shriek of tires, the crunch of crumpling metal, the shatter of windshields, it's a sensory overload. The camera pulls back, offering a breathtaking top-down view, a dizzying spectacle as John moves through the swirling traffic circle, firing his shotgun with devastating effect. The boom of the dragon's breath rounds, the whoosh of flames, the scream of enemies consumed by fire. It's a truly unique and visceral take on vehicular combat. He's not just shooting, he's a force of nature, pushing through the chaos, dispatching enemies with a brutal efficiency that feels almost otherworldly. It's a testament to the choreography and special effects teams, creating a sequence that is both visually stunning and incredibly impactful. Amidst the chaos of the Arc de Triomphe, Cain reappears, sent by the Marquis to ensure John doesn't make it to the duel. But Cain isn't there to kill John. He's there to protect his daughter, and the Marquis's demands are a direct threat to her. He's not John's ally, but he's not entirely his enemy either. Their interactions are terse, a grudging acknowledgement of their shared predicament, and a deep, tragic bond. The clink of Cain's cane sword against John's empty gun, the shared glance of wearied understanding, these small moments speak volumes. Then there's Mr. Nobody, a new character introduced with his loyal, highly trained canine companion. He's a bounty hunter, but one with a complicated moral compass. He's constantly calculating the ever-increasing bounty on John's head, making his own strategic choices about when to engage and when to observe. His dog, a magnificent German Shepherd, is not just a pet, it's a lethal weapon, trained to attack certain areas, particularly the crotch. The snarl of the dog, the thump as it tackles an assailant, the yelp of pain from the recipient. It's both terrifying and subtly humorous, a welcome bit of dark levity in the relentless action. Mr. Nobody at one point saves John, only to immediately try to take him out for the bounty, then saves him again. It's a brilliant character, constantly shifting allegiances based on profit and a weird, reluctant sense of honor. He's always watching, always calculating, and always with his trusty canine companion.
With an analytical feeling and narrative and engaging, John eventually corners Killa, who, despite his bulk, is surprisingly agile. Their fight is less graceful ballet and more brutal street brawl, with the heavy blows landing with bone-jarring thuds. John eventually tosses Killa off a balcony, the sickening crunch of impact barely audible over the throbbing music. After his little chat with Killa, John finds himself seeking an audience with the Ruska Roma crime family. He wants back in, needing their protection and a way to challenge the high table directly. But the Ruska Roma aren't exactly rolling out the red carpet. They demand a pound of flesh, specifically John's ring finger, to earn his re-entry. It's a grisly, squishy sound, the snipping of bone and tissue, and a sharp, guttural groan from John, a rare moment of vulnerability from the seemingly invincible Baba Yaga. He gets branded too, a searing sizzle of hot metal against skin, a testament to his renewed loyalty. This is what it takes for John to reclaim his nobody status, and with it, the right to formally challenge the Marquis to a duel. The duel, a concept steeped in ancient high table tradition, is John's only path to freedom. Winston, ever the master manipulator, and the Bowery King, who's finally back on his feet after his run-in with the high table, are crucial in orchestrating this. They remind John that a challenger must represent a family. And since John's pretty much an orphan in the assassin world, he needs to get readmitted into the Ruska Roma to stand a chance. The stage for the duel is set in Paris, at the Sacré-Cœur Basilica, a breathtaking monument that will soon be drenched in blood. But before John can even get there, the Marquis, in his infinite generosity, places a massive, eye-watering bounty of $40 million on John's head. This bounty is active before the duel, turning John's journey across Paris into an epic city-wide gauntlet. The bounty alert rings out across all the assassin networks, a buzzing, insistent signal of John's impending doom. And so begins the most ambitious and brutal sequence in the film. John emerges from the subway, and the entire city of Paris becomes a battleground. Suddenly, every random pedestrian, every street vendor, every person seemingly minding their own business is an assassin eager to claim that hefty bounty. The sounds of mundane city life, traffic, chatter, distant sirens, are abruptly punctuated by the crack of gunshots, the shattering of storefront windows, and the sickening thud of bodies hitting pavement. John, with his trusty pistol, navigates through the crowded streets, turning every corner into a potential ambush. He moves with a desperate, frantic energy, the weight of the bounty pressing down on him. He finds himself in a frantic chase through traffic, the roar of engines and the screech of tires mixing with gunfire. John, ever the multitasker, is driving and shooting, somehow maintaining control of the vehicle while dispatching hordes of assassins on motorcycles and in cars. The sound of crumpled metal and shattering glass is constant, a symphony of destruction. He's sideswiped, shot at, and nearly run over, but he keeps pushing forward. The Arc de Triomphe roundabout becomes the center of an utterly insane, incredibly choreographed firefight. Cars are crashing, flipping, and exploding around John, the concussive blasts rattling the screen. John, somehow surviving the chaos, is using the moving vehicles as cover, as weapons, and even as platforms. He's sliding across hoods, tumbling over roofs, and executing precision headshots through windshields. The pew-pew-pew of silenced pistols mixes with the louder, more impactful blam of shotguns, and the heavy thump-thump-thump of machine guns. It's an automotive ballet of death, a metal-grinding, glass-shattering spectacle. One particular sequence has John literally using a car to shield himself while shooting, a truly bonkers yet brilliant move. He's also taking down assassins on motorbikes, each bike crash a satisfying crunch of plastic and metal. You can almost feel the wind whipping past as he dodges projectiles and returns fire. Amidst this chaos, Kane reappears, still reluctantly hunting John. Their exchanges are brief but impactful, a blend of deadly fighting and dry, almost weary banter. "You really should stop," Kane says, almost sounding bored as he parries John's attack. "So should you," John retorts, delivering a brutal kick. They are both caught in the high table's web, two friends forced into a dance of death. Tracker, a new character with a dog that's probably smarter than most assassins, also joins the hunt, using advanced tech and his keen sense of smell to follow John. The Tracker's dog, a gorgeous Belgian Malinois, is an absolute legend, tackling bad guys with ferocity and a satisfying growl. The sound of its barking, followed by a crunching tackle, is a welcome addition to the chaos. John finally makes it to the specified meeting point, a quaint little courtyard near a church. But the Harbinger is there, patiently waiting. He tells John that the duel rules stipulate John must present himself at the steps of the Sacré-Cœur by sunrise. And to get there, he has to go through everyone. The bounty, still very much active, attracts every assassin left in Paris. John faces a new gauntlet, this time through a decrepit Parisian apartment building. The building, under renovation, is a maze of exposed walls, scaffolding, and dimly lit rooms. The Dragon's Breath shotgun comes out, and the ensuing chaos is a sight to behold. Each blast emits a guttural thwump, sending out a wave of fire and shrapnel, illuminating the tight corridors in a flash of orange and red. The enemies, silhouetted by the fiery blasts, drop with satisfying thuds. This section is filmed from a top-down perspective, like a brutal video game, showcasing John's calculated movements as he systematically clears room after room, the rhythmic boom, boom, boom of the shotgun echoing through the confined spaces. It's a literal ballet of destruction, the camera floating above the carnage, allowing us to appreciate the sheer scale of the body count. He's taking out multiple guys with single shots, reloading with a practiced, almost bored efficiency. The smell of gunpowder must be thick in the air, singeing hairs and stinging eyes. After clearing the apartment building, John still needs to get to the Sacré-Cœur Basilica. And what stands between him and his destination? 222 steps, leading straight up. The sun is creeping up, time is running out, and the Marquis, his personal enforcer Chidi, along with an army of assassins, to stop John. John, already battered and bruised, begins the grueling climb. Each step is a struggle, each step a potential death trap. The sound of his heavy, labored breathing is almost audible. He's fighting uphill, literally, the bullets whizzing past him, striking stone with sharp pings. The tension ratchets up. John is almost at the top when Chidi and his crew launch a final desperate assault. John, with a defiant roar, continues to fight, but the sheer numbers overwhelm him. He's punched, kicked, and shot, his body absorbing an unbelievable amount of punishment. Finally, with a weary, defeated slump, he is pushed, tumbled, and sent careening all the way down those 222 steps. The thudding, scraping, body-bouncing sound of his descent is excruciatingly painful, like listening to a sack of potatoes fall down a very long, very hard flight of stairs. It's a comedic moment, really, in its sheer brutality and repetitive nature. Oh, he's down. No, wait, he's up. Oh, he's down again. Oh, come on. It's a testament to John's sheer willpower, or perhaps just his inability to stay dead, that he even considers getting back up. And get back up he does. The Harbinger, seeing John still alive, simply declares that the bounty is back on. Because, of course it is. John, now sporting a whole new array of scrapes and bruises, begins the climb again. But this time he has an unlikely ally. Kane, seeing the Marquis's flagrant disregard for the rules and his own life, starts to fight alongside John. Kane's sword flashes in the early morning light, a silver blur taking down assailants with precise, almost surgical strikes. John, meanwhile, is a force of pure, unadulterated rage, his pistol firing with desperate accuracy, making quick, brutal work of the remaining assassins. The combined effort is awe-inspiring. Two legends.
The final leg of John's journey to Sacré-Cœur involves climbing a seemingly endless, incredibly broad set of stairs. And of course, every single assassin in Paris has decided that this is the perfect spot for an ambush. It's like a video game level come to life, a gauntlet of human bodies thrown at John with increasing ferocity. The thud of bodies hitting the stone steps, the clatter of weapons, the shouts of bounty. It's a relentless, almost overwhelming assault. John, exhausted and battered, fights his way up, each step a testament to his sheer will. He falls, tumbles all the way back down, and then, with a guttural roar, starts climbing again, the ultimate underdog refusing to stay down. The grunt of effort, the scrape of his knees on the stone, the gasp for air. It's a truly visceral experience. Kane is there too, making his way up the stairs, a silent, deadly force. He's not just following orders, he's fighting for his own reasons, his own chance at survival. He engages in a beautifully choreographed fight with Mr. Nobody, their styles clashing in a whirlwind of precise movements and calculated strikes. The zing of Kane's sword, the whoosh of Mr. Nobody's swift, agile attacks. It's a duel of true equals. At a crucial moment, when Mr. Nobody is about to deliver a killing blow, John saves him, a surprising act of solidarity born from their shared struggle. This act earns John an unlikely ally, as Mr. Nobody repays the favor by defending John during the ascent. The dog, ever vigilant, even bites the crotch of one particularly tenacious assassin, eliciting a loud yowl of pain, making the audience collectively wince and chuckle. Finally, bleeding, battered, and utterly exhausted, John Wick makes it to the top of the stairs, arriving just as the sun begins to creep above the horizon. The duel is set, witnessed by a high-ranking adjudicator and representatives of the high table. The Marquis arrives, smug and self-assured, believing he has already won. Winston is present too, his face a mask of solemn resolve. Kane stands opposite John, a reluctant participant in this deadly game. The rules are read. Pistols at dawn, 10 paces, 3 rounds. This isn't just a fight. It's a ritual, a sacred tradition meant to uphold the high table's authority. The air is crisp, still, punctuated only by the distant sounds of the city waking up. The first shot rings out, a sharp crack that echoes across the open square. John and Kane fire, but both are injured, non-fatal wounds designed to draw out the agony. The thud of a bullet embedding into flesh, the gasp of pain. It's incredibly tense. The second round, another crack, and both men are wounded again. John taking a shot to the shoulder, Kane to the leg. The squelch of blood, the hiss of breath through gritted teeth. The suffering is palpable. The Marquis, watching from a distance, revels in their pain. He's confident he'll simply take the final shot, a coward's victory. As the third round approaches, John and Kane confer. They are both weary, both pushed to their limits. They understand each other, respect each other, even as they stand on opposite sides of this deadly game. This time, they both fire and miss, or rather, intentionally graze each other, creating non-lethal wounds. The Marquis, furious that John isn't dead, smugly steps forward, declaring his intention to take the final shot. He's arrogant, overconfident, and utterly oblivious to the true nature of John Wick's strategy. He raises his pistol, aiming for John's head. The click of the hammer, the tension building. But Winston, ever the master manipulator, steps in, reminding the Marquis of the sacred rules. John, as the challenger, gets the final shot if he's still standing. The Marquise, momentarily stunned by this revelation, protests, but the adjudicator, bound by the high table's own codes, confirms Winston's statement. John, miraculously still standing, though barely, raises his pistol. His face is a mask of grim determination, his body racked with pain. The Marquise, now truly afraid, realizes his fatal error. He's overplayed his hand. John takes a moment, his eyes locking with the Marquise's. He pulls the trigger. The crack of the gunshot is deafening in the morning air. The Marquise collapses, a look of shocked disbelief on his face, a bullet having pierced his head. The sound of his body hitting the stone floor is a dull thump, so final, so absolute. It's a moment of profound victory, but one tinged with immense cost. John Wick is won. He's free. The high table is forced to honor the terms, but the victory comes at a terrible price. He collapses, exhausted, bleeding profusely. Kane stands over him, a complicated mix of relief and sorrow. He gives John his hat, a silent gesture of respect and farewell. As the sun rises fully, John Wick leans against a stone pillar, his breath shallow. His thoughts turn to Helen, his wife, the one true peace he ever knew. His last words are a whispered, "Helen." He closes his eyes, a serene expression finally gracing his bloodied face. The man who was once the Baba Yaga, the one you send to kill the boogeyman, has finally found his peace. His long, agonizing journey is over. The aftermath is somber, reflective. Winston stands victorious, his Continental to be rebuilt, his status restored. He gazes out at the Parisian skyline, a man who has played the long game and emerged triumphant, but not without immense personal loss. Kane walks away, free from the high table's clutches, presumably to reunite with his daughter. Mr. Nobody and his dog, having collected their bounty, disappear into the Parisian morning, perhaps to find a quieter life. The final scenes show Winston and the Bowery King, ever the enigmatic figures, standing at John Wick's grave. The inscription reads, "John Wick, loving husband." It's a poignant, heartbreaking epitaph, a reminder of the man he was before the violence consumed him. The Bowery King places a hand on the headstone, a silent tribute to a legend. The dog, John's faithful companion, sits beside the grave, a silent sentinel. The world of assassins moves on, but the legend of John Wick, the man who dared to defy the high table, will surely live forever. His sacrifice has not been in vain. It has ushered in a new, albeit uncertain, era for those caught in the high table's web. This journey through John Wick Chapter 4 is more than just a sequence of expertly choreographed fights. It's a profound exploration of choice, consequence, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. John Wick's unwavering determination, even in the face of insurmountable odds, serves as a powerful reminder of the human spirit's capacity for resilience. His fight is a metaphor for all our struggles against the forces that seek to control or define us, a testament to the idea that even when the path is brutal and the cost immense, one must never stop fighting for their truth, for their peace, for the memory of what they hold dear. It leaves us with a quiet yet potent understanding of sacrifice and the enduring legacy of a man who simply wanted to be left alone, but became a legend by fighting for the right to choose his own ending. John Wick Chapter 4 is an absolute triumph of action cinema, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the genre. It's a ballet of brutality, a masterclass in world-building, and a deeply satisfying conclusion to a saga that redefined action films for a generation. The intricate fight choreography, the stunning visuals, and the surprisingly emotional core make it an unforgettable experience that will be talked about for years to come.